everyone. This is update for August 27, 2024, day 916 of the war and of the date update. Also catch up for August 26 and August 25. I'm just going to jump to the situation on the battlefield in Ukraine because it's becoming extremely dangerous. I would say almost catastrophic for Ukrainian army, and we may witness a complete collapse of Ukrainian front line in the Pokrovsk area. So let me start in my typical way, in a clockwise fashion, starting from very north. So first, we're going to jump to the situation. Actually, I'm going to take it back. So there's a lot of, I would say, rumors or fear mongering that that Belarus is going to attack Ukraine from the north. As I mentioned before, Belarus army is simply not enough and not capable of doing that. There are Wagner mercenaries there, but it's still, even if it's, let's say, 20,000, probably less at this point, even 15,000, it's simply not enough to do anything meaningful. So it will be a complete waste of resources. And giving that Russian command does not even have enough resources to throw in Kursk region and simply containing Ukrainian army there, and everything is thrown actually into Pokrovsk area. It's basically fear mongering, an attempt to scare Ukrainian military command to pull resources from, let's say, Kursk region or elsewhere and bring them to the border with Belarus. It doesn't mean that things may change, and maybe there is some huge reserve in the back pocket of the Russian command, but it's extremely unlikely. But it's war; anything is possible. But most likely scenario that this is not a viable threat. But now let's actually move to the situation in the Kursk region, where it's essentially complete stalemate. It doesn't even look Ukrainian army is capable to picking up this sort of low-hanging fruit south of the Seym river. No major advances there. Both sides sort of claim they captured or took control of 2 or 3 villages without really any actual evidence. So largely situation here is stalemate, which also means for Russia that it's under control, that Ukrainian troops are contained, and that's enough for Russia. They don't need to win at this point here, because as we go south, you'll see the disastrous situation there. So as disaster will unfold there, this becomes completely moot point, and probably Ukrainian forces by themselves will evacuate Kursk region. So again, this goes back to what I said before, that without having clear strategic goal, it destined to fail. It was excellent beginning. There's no question about it. But the ending or continuation of this is completely nothing. It just how to say, building bridges to nowhere are probably best description of this situation here. Now let's move south. Let's look at the situation northeast of Kharkiv, where it's also a similar situation. It's complete stalemate. Both sides don't have resources to continue meaningful military action in this area. Now let's move to the North Donbas section of the front line. North Luhansk section of the front line. Also more or less similar situation, no major advances by Russian forces towards Kupiansk, and also no major advances in the southern part of it. More or less situation is contained from Ukrainian perspective, which is already, I would say, given the whole situation on the entire front, this is already achievement. Now let's look at the situation on the North Donbas section of the front line. In the north of it is also contained from Ukrainian perspective. no major Russian advances here. The south, Chasiv also, I would say, relatively contained. There are small advances by Russian troops in the sort of northeastern part of Chasiv, but largely they are contained. They're nothing major, and it doesn't seem that Russian forces have resources to continue their attack in this area. It goes back to all of this, the theme that Russian command completely concentrated all of their resources on the in the Pokrovsk area, which we're gonna look now. So this is going to be central Donbass section of the front line, and this is what's happening in this. Well, I wouldn't say even Pokrovsk. The situation is becoming sort of difficult even in the southern part of it, but this one is more frontal squeeze. So it's really, well, it's obviously negative, but it's contained situation. But where situation is completely out of control is in the Pokrovsk area, Selidovo, and Selidovo is actually being assaulted right now by Russian troops. So once Selidovo falls, this is essentially open road all the way to you can even go to Velika Novosilka, but essentially this collapses all of this Ukrainian front line south of Selidovo. All of this will have to be withdrawn pretty quickly, and also Vuhledar is going to be lost, which was really cornerstone of Ukrainian defenses, and basically all of the Ukrainian defenses in this area were depending on Vuhledar because it's excellent defensive position. So essentially, this really gonna mean the collapse of this whole section of the front line, and then in parallel, Russian troops are likely going to be cleaning up Pokrovsk, and then it's a really straight road towards Dnipro River, which will create even bigger collapse. But this is too early to talk about that. But even what's happening, what's unfolding, is extremely. I cannot express enough how bad situation is. Let's actually look at this over sort of this couple of days. So this is actually, I didn't update the date here. It should be 27. I apologize for that. So this is current situation. This is actually 3 days ago, as you can see. Is significant Russian advance just in 3 days. And the more important part is that Ukrainian troops are not putting up strong resistance. So some of the villages close to being intact. Typically, we would see World War I landscape right, before Russian troops capture anything. For example, in Kalynove, it actually relatively intact. There's obviously damage, but it's clearly showing that that motivation of Ukrainian troops is no longer there. And I was talking about this starting from, I think, last winter or even early spring, that the quality of Ukrainian troops is going down and motivation is no longer there. And I explained that the driver for that is that it's internal politics in Ukraine that does not incentivizes ordinary citizen to fight for it, because it's essentially terrible internal, rampant corruption and rampant mismanagement, and that really does not incentivize anyone to fight for that. And that's really it's obviously very simplified explanation. I can go for quite a while explaining this whole in intricate details. But the essence of it is um, people don't see what to fight for. And the system that's being built inside of Ukraine is literally oppressive to people in Ukraine. And I'm not talking in terms of um, um, there is like a totalitarian regime. It's more of um, like there is terrible economic regulations that really makes it impossible to build anything and any prosperity personally on individual level. And when people don't have that sort of opportunity in front of them, then they're not gonna fight, because what to fight for? It just there's no incentive basically, and people who were willing to fight without incentive largely at this point died or wounded or prisoners of war. So there's very little of those people who Ukraine had in 2022. It's a night and day in terms of quality of troops, what it was in 2022 versus it is in August of 2024. And it really explains everything else. And obviously, completely incompetent Ukrainian military top and also Ukrainian political top. That really makes completely toxic situation, and we're seeing the outcome of that in front of our eyes, and things will get worse without any question, because this situation could have been easily dealt with by bringing more reinforcements in this area, and it's not being done actually. And so this is a result of all of this. So the most important part is that the Russian troops with ease captured this village Kalynove and village Memryk, and essentially Karlivka is going to be lost. So probably by next video, I will report that it's gone. Also, Novogrodivka completely lost, and the days of Grodivka also counted, because Russian troops essentially at this point attacking this village Promin, and Ukrainian forces will have to withdraw in order not to be encircled, because there's, while it's not imminent, but there is quite a bit of risk of being encircled in this area. And then obviously the next one is Selidovo. Once Selidovo falls, this really opens the gate for Russian troops to move in this southwestern direction, and then probably turn south and collapse Ukrainian front in this whole area. So now let's finish with the situation on the Zaporizhya front line, where things are quiet. Nothing major is happening here. As I explained before, this is one of the likely donor section of the front line for the area in Pokrovsk and also Kursk. Then the last one is along the Dnipro river. It's completely quiet as well. Nothing really meaningful going on here, and has been the same that way for quite a while. Again, this is also donor area for other sections of the front line. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.